Hey guys, we've it's been a fun time trying to get started. Uh, I'm
Yeah,
Sean.
I'm Chance. Sean's dog Reese is here with us. Come here, Reese.
He said, "No, you told me not to."
Yeah, say hi to the camera.
So he has knocked over the camera about 32 separate times and
Yep.
unplugged all the cables uh about 100 different times.
Yeah, he's gonna probably just stay on my side of the table today because Sean's mad at him.
Just frustrated. You're just a puppy, so you don't know any better, but it gets quite annoying.
That's right.
But either way, um we started watching the new My Hero Academia
Yeah,
Vigilantes.
Vigilantes. Just watched that today before we started the
So
podcast.
it's fresh in our brains. I
Yes.
still won't know how to pronounce the characters' names.
Yeah, he has not watched or read My Hero Academia, like the main story. I'm about halfway through the show right now, so neither of us has actually finished My Hero. But we figure since it's a prequel story and it's not it doesn't seem like it ties too much into the main events near the end of My Hero, so we figure it wouldn't be a big deal for us to watch this without knowing the ending of My Hero.
Right. So let me get a character list here because I want to make sure that I almost pronounce the names correctly.
Yeah, there wasn't too many characters, thankfully, in this episode, though.
So the main character, Koichi,
Yeah.
I feel bad for him. You know, he who does he remind me of? I guess he could kind of remind you of Jin Woo when he first started
A little bit, yeah. The when he's still that
because he was just
actually still the E rank
oh,
that hasn't unlocked the
yeah,
system yet.
like the worst E rank in the world or
Yeah.
something like that. This guy, and I did laugh a lot when I saw his power or his quirk. Sorry.
Yeah. His quirk.
He like kind of like levitates or slithers on the
I
ground.
think it's like a slide. He's like sliding on the ground. I almost think his quirk seems to be like he can glide across the surface the way like a snake would, like but
But
without slithering.
that's
He's
all he can do
just
so far.
gliding.
And so it says on here they also call him the Crawler
Yeah, I wouldn't have picked that name. I think I would have picked the Prowler.
or
I think that would sound cooler.
the Sky Crawler.
Skycrawler. What a lame.
Yeah.
That must be from the manga. What a lame.
Uh, he ate shit when he ran over a puddle when he was using his quirk.
Yeah. So I had heard a little bit about the manga of this series before we began watching today. And I knew that like his whole shtick was that he has a quirk that wasn't powerful enough for him to get accepted into UA or any of the other hero schools. And so he'd never be able to get a pro license. I didn't realize how useless his power was really going to be until we saw him sliding around on the ground. And at first, I was like, okay, I actually see potential here with this power. And I mean, I still kind of do. Like, I guess there's a lot of different ways he could make good use out of that.
Yeah.
However, when I saw him just completely crash out over hitting a tiny little rain puddle, I'm like, okay, now I see why they won't let this kid even attend the class.
No,
Like,
100%.
because you could go to UA high school and not end up becoming a hero. Like they have so many other things you could do with that education, but for him to not even get accepted, that tells me they really have no faith in his
I
power.
just looked at him as a complete scrub, I guess.
There are people without powers that attend the school. They do the support class. They make tech, like Iron Man or Batman, like support heroes. That's a thing. Like
It's a little fucked up.
yeah.
So, uh, I guess he's just, like Jinwoo was the worst of the worst, right?
Yep.
And so but he really wants to be a hero. That's all he wants. He
Yeah, he
looks up to
really
All Might.
looks up to All Might,
He
exactly.
even has this jacket, I guess you would call it, sweater jacket,
Yeah.
of All Might.
Yep.
And of course, everybody thinks it looks stupid, but he's like, I'm embodying All Might here, as I go out in the streets and clean up litter and pick up lost items for citizens.
I totally have to agree. I mean, I think it looks cool. I mean, like if I was him, like with the hoodie
Yeah,
and I'm sliding around helping my
yeah.
community, I'd probably think it looks pretty
It's
cool.
like when you're a kid and you play church league basketball and you suck, but you wear like a Tim Duncan jersey
Oh yeah,
just so you can like
feel like you're,
pretend
yeah,
like you're good.
absolutely.
Yeah, that was me. So so yeah, I felt really bad for him because all he wants to be is a hero,
Yep.
and right now he's just terrible. He has the fighting spirit. He has a good heart, as you can see. He just wants to help people,
Yeah.
but he keeps getting beat up by these, uh, I guess you call them bullies, right?
Yeah, they definitely seem like some kind of bullies. Make like I don't know with their age. I mean, they definitely seem like they're low level like criminals, but I mean, they don't seem like they're like organized crime. They're
Yeah,
just punks. They're
it's like
just
a
thugs.
lizard guy,
Yeah,
a guy that's kind of like Wolverine almost, and but can like make spikes wherever on his body come out.
yeah,
And there was there was a big guy with like a little pigtail on top of his head.
yeah. He was pretty tough. He reminded me of this one guy on from Dragon Ball Z.
I think
Remember
I was,
Krillin fought him in the
yeah,
tournament in the Buu saga? Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
I know
yeah,
exactly what you're
yeah.
talking about. Yeah. So they meet uh Koichi multiple times. One while he was working. I think they met him before that
Yeah,
actually.
I think they met him before they saw him at the store.
Yeah. And they
He
met him
got
at the store.
away.
They were like,
They
this
were like,
punk. Yeah.
yeah, and they're like, there he is.
Yeah.
Well, what a coincidence.
Right.
Let's go beat his ass.
Yeah. And then this other vigilante, I guess we call her vigilante, this other girl that we see that kind of plays dress up. Uh her name is Shata.
Well,
No, no,
she's
no, 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 not that's a racer. Sorry, it's B pop. B
B-pop.
Yeah. Because she sings, right? So she's
Yeah.
like kind of like a pop star, but
So she's a Japanese idol, or if she's not really, then she's trying to be. And that, so in Japanese culture, like their idols are like, kind of like how we view our celebrities, but they put so much more emphasis on like them, and like they're marketed very, very specifically for like beauty, singing, like modeling, that kind of stuff. It's uh I mean, it's like I said, it's kind of how we view celebrities here in like the West, but to a different kind of degree, for sure. Um, but I don't know if she's like just impersonating an idol, like she just wants to be one.
well, she has a
Little bit of a fan base.
she has a fan base, as you can see while
Yeah,
she's singing on top of a streetlight.
yeah, for sure.
Um, but she wears makeup to, I guess, mask her identity.
Probably because what she's doing is illegal.
Because her name is Kazuho Hanayama. She's an idol. She's known as the idol Pop Step, but
Pop step.
her vigilante name is B Pop, which I don't see how people could not think that that's her.
Well,
So
yeah, I mean, wasn't it just almost the same outfit, but like with a
yeah, yeah.
mask?
So her I'm pretty sure it's just makeup, right?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
just makeup. Yeah.
And so she has her quirk is a leap. She can jump at high altitudes. That's it.
I
She
mean,
she can she does kind of show it while she's singing, but
pretty cool, I guess. Like
you can
Mario.
you can escape, I guess.
Yeah.
You can.
I guess if you like time your leaps well, you can use them in a fight, like
Yeah.
leap up into somebody, uppercut,
I guess that also
or
means you don't get much fall damage too.
yeah, that probably too.
So that's
So
good.
that's yeah, jumping down from rooftops
Yeah.
won't be much of an issue
Do some
for you.
parkour.
Hardcore parkour.
Yeah, she could be a famous parkourist.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
No.
Parkourist.
No, I don't think so. Um, Yeah, she could show Michael Scott and Dwight Schrute a thing or two about parkour for
That's right.
sure.
Parkour.
Yeah, peep the Dunder Mifflin shirt.
That's right. Always got to shout them out.
That's right.
So, they're really the first two ones that we see besides All Might.
Yeah,
Everybody already knows All Might, even I do, because I watched the first like two episodes of the regular show.
yeah. They and then of course there's a little bit in the introduction. Izuku Midoriya is narrating how of course this is before his time, so don't expect to see Midoriya show up. Don't expect to see Todoroki, any of the other students, because they are still children. I think this is actually like 5 years before the My Hero season 1 starts. So all those kids that we know, they are like 9 years old right now, like 9 or 10 years old. So we're not going to be seeing from them. But we did get to see a little montage of different heroes during the narration. All Might, Endeavor, Eraserhead, Mount Lady, couple, several other pro heroes that we see in the main show. So that was pretty cool for people who have seen the series and are fans. Um, but what'd you think of the new guy, Knuckle Duster?
he, like we said, he's makes me laugh because he's like ultra serious, but he's also like kind of stupid at the same time.
Yeah, for sure.
He reminds me of Batman and either Red Hood put together or Batman and like you said Punisher put
Yeah,
together.
something like that.
He has this real deep voice and he's just real serious, but he's also like not that good, but he can punch things. And he's gonna teach Kyochi how to be a hero.
He almost kind of reminds me of oh, shit. He almost kind of reminds me of what's his name? Drax from Guardians of the
Oh,
Galaxy.
yeah, just
But
really
like
big.
mixed with like the Punisher,
Yeah,
like he's very serious, very tough, out for justice and to beat crime, but just dumb,
yeah,
like just seems like he's got a few screws loose.
right. And I mean, obviously, with his name, he's got brass knuckles.
Yeah, pretty sick. I do like his design. It is very reminiscent of a few other heroes like Punisher. I think he
Yeah.
looks pretty similar to
So I mean, no, I mean he is cool.
yeah.
He's the best one we've seen so far. It's just like brute strength, right?
Yeah, and I don't know if his quirk is even brute strength or if he's just worked out and is just strong enough to
Yeah,
beat those
I
dudes'
don't think
asses,
we've seen if
So
that.
I don't know if that's actually his quirk or if he's just a strong dude and is just beating people's asses in episode
Yeah,
one.
the only thing that we've seen is just him jumping down from a rooftop and defeating the bullies that were
Yeah.
after Kyochi and Pop, B Pop. Yeah, B Pop.
Pop Step. I like Pop Step more.
I do too. But because they were they knew who she was, so they like got her in an alley and they were gonna like take weird pictures of her.
Yeah. They were probably gonna do more than that.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Kyochi was like, "Oh, that's not my problem." He said, "I can't do much about this." And then he was like, "But wait, I have an All Might shirt."
Yeah, I'm wearing an All Might shirt. I can't just do nothing.
Right.
like,
And then he,
I'm glad he came to that. Like, I need to do something, but I hated like his reasoning for why he needs to do. Not like he didn't. He did say this is wrong and I can't let this happen. But at first, he was like, "I'm wearing an All Might shirt. I can't let this happen. Like, I have to do better."
and then he literally like skated. Is that what you would call it?
I wouldn't call it that.
He floated, like
He
slid.
slid. He slid.
He
I would
slid.
say he's sliding on the ground.
He slid
Like,
just like into these guys' like legs, and
yeah, he's trying to.
trying to like be a bowling ball.
I kind of thought it was gonna work, but I mean,
He has no force behind. I guess he has like no weight behind.
yeah. Well, he didn't seem to be moving too fast either.
Yeah, it was just,
Yeah. Like that probably wouldn't have knocked me or you over
No.
either.
Then
Like,
just turned around like, what the
What
hell
the-
are you
what-
doing? Like, get out of
Yeah.
here! This is not.
and
Rough.
then it looked like they were going to kill him and then keep doing whatever they were planning on doing to Pop Step. And then Knuckle Duster shows up on the rooftop looking over everybody like Batman.
Yeah.
Uh,
At first I thought it was All Might, but I was like, no, it's not.
it's not. That's not. This is not All Might's
It's
story.
not a story. Yeah.
No, you might okay, so I'll say you might, just like in the main story, you might get scenes every now and then where there are like villains being like fighting actual pro heroes, and then you might, just like how in the main continuity of My Hero, the students don't have their licenses yet for most of the show, right? So they can't legally be fighting villains.
Yeah.
Every time they get into a fight with these villains, usually they're breaking the law by defending themselves, or like they just have to survive.
Right.
So like you might see instances like that in this show where like Koichi, Knuckle Duster, Pop Step, and all of them, they might be in an area where pro heroes are doing a conflict with some villains, but then behind the scenes, they're in the shadows, they're doing whatever they're doing that will contribute overall to stopping the threat, whether the pro heroes know about it or not.
Yeah.
That's what I'm kind of expecting
Yeah.
is going to be happening at least a few times.
Yeah.
Because you got to think they're going to have to kind of be a little more careful about the public perception, because they're not licensed heroes.
100%.
They could just be arrested.
But right now they're just like so small time.
Yeah.
It's like it doesn't matter.
They would.
It's just
They
like,
probably wouldn't even.
just like a random like brawl in an alley.
Yeah. Exactly.
But after Knuckle Duster beats these guys up and basically
Pretty easily too.
basically kidnaps Kyochi.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he? He's like,
Kyochi
"You're coming with me, kid."
He's like, "You're this big strange man, and I don't really want to do that."
Yeah.
And go with a strange person. Oh, and also he was looking at all these guys' tongues. Did you notice that?
Yeah. Well, did you catch why?
Yeah.
I know you were on the phone.
We did
a little bit.
Yeah, we did
Okay.
catch why.
Yeah.
But before that, I was like, what the hell is he looking for?
Yeah. Yeah.
But later on, we see these guys meet. Was it number 6? Yes,
Number 6.
Apparently, a deadly villain with multiple quirks and transformations. So he has
Multiple quirks.
this Compound V.
Yeah, like drug.
Kind of, like the boys Compound V. It's like a steroid for heroes or anybody with
Looks like it's
superpowers.
Looks like it's gonna. If you have a quirk, it looks like it'll boost it.
Yeah.
I wonder if you gave this serum to someone with no quirk, would it give them a quirk?
I don't know, because actually that's what Compound V does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you have no powers, it'll give you powers. If you already have powers, it'll enhance your powers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're not sure about that one yet, but yeah, this guy number 6, says first appearance 26, chapter 26. I'm guessing this guy is he in the main show? Or have you seen?
I've never seen number 6 in My Hero Academia. Does it say chapter 26 of My Hero or
No,
of
it just says-
Vigilantes?
It just says chapter 26, but then Bebop, it says first appearance chapter 72. So that's why it doesn't make sense to me. Because we just saw all of them in the first episode.
So I wonder then, maybe, so with this being a prequel series, maybe we're seeing younger versions of characters that might have had small appearances in the main continuity.
Yeah.
So 70, you said chapter 70 something for Bebop?
72. Yeah.
So if that was chapter 72 of My Hero, that probably wouldn't be until season 4 anyway.
But then Knuckle Duster says chapter 1.
So
it's just confusing.
That is confusing. I'll look into whether that's of the main story or just of Vigilantes, because that is weird.
I will say that it says on here on Game Rant that he's quite similar to Tamuro Shigaraki. Yeah, from the main series in a lot of aspects.
And I wonder that's like in how his powers work or in his character.
Because it says he was also used as an experiment by All For One from a.
I figured that's why he has multiple quirks, because that's one of his things is. So All For One. So All Might uses a power called One For All. So what one person has the ability, the power, but in theory, you transfer it to your successor one day. I think Izuku Midoriya, the main character of the original show, he's either the seventh or the eighth inheritor of the power, and so All Might would be the one previous.
Yeah.
With each new power or with each new host, the power grows and gets more powerful by also adding the powers of each previous host to the collective,
Mm.
making each new host more powerful than the last in theory. Whereas All for One, who's the main antagonist of the series, he steals powers from you. So if he takes your quirk, you are now quirkless and he now has your quirk. And he can also transfer your quirk now to one of his minions.
So do you think that that's what he do you think that's what he's doing? How he's getting these vials of just super juice? Do you
Maybe
think
they're like
he's
doing a
taking it
like making like a drug like a synthetic version of All for One or All for One's power.
Yeah, do you think that maybe like he's taking these quirks from people and like just basically like
Somehow mass produce. Yeah.
transferring it into like a
Something.
substance?
Yeah. That could be.
Because he just had these vials ready to go. He's like, "Hey, you look like you need some help." And then
Right.
they took it and they looked just immensely powerful after that.
Yeah, they did look a lot more threatening after they got their little enhancement. So that could be if especially if he's known to work with All for One, then that could be an explanation for how he's able to do that.
Yeah. So obviously we don't know what happens after that because that was the last time we saw them for this first episode.
Yep.
And Knuckle Duster is basically on the scent for that, right? He's
Yeah,
basically
he's
searching for this.
looking for the source of this drug.
So he already knows about this. I guess it's already been used multiple times,
Yeah.
and that's why he was checking the tongues of these villains. Which he, if he checks their tongues now, what do you think of?
Yeah, now yeah, when he sees them again, I bet you he's gonna be like, "Hey, wait a second."
Yeah, exactly. So, but him and Kyochi, they're basically going around and trying to find like drug dealers and whatnot. I guess just to find the source. But I doubt it's going to be easy to find number six, especially if number six is as powerful as this says he is. They're going to have a. I don't think they'd be able to do anything to stop him, really, if he has multiple quirks, right?
Depending on what the quirks are, yeah.
Because I mean, if they, well, Kyochi, of course, definitely not. But Knuckle Duster, I don't think that he could fight like a professional villain, if you want to call it that. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
or even if he can, I mean, like there must be like a limit to what he can do, especially because like what's the reason he's not a pro hero? I'm assuming it's not because he's weak. I'm assuming it's because of his mental state is why he's not able to be a pro hero.
Probably.
Or maybe he was in the past and he like got let go because of something
Yeah.
or another.
He does kind of seem like a detective of sorts because he
Yeah, he's searching for
one
clues,
searching for
tracking
clues.
down.
Also, when he got Kyochi, he like took his student ID and was like looking at all the stuff and
Yeah,
like trying to get uh I guess all the information he could on him. And that seems like some like a washed up detective sort of
yeah,
thing. Somebody who's like now like a PI.
right,
You
exactly.
know. So yeah, I don't know what. Obviously, they're gonna. I'm guessing this is gonna be like the base or like the core group of the show. Is that
Yeah,
fair?
so I know Pop Step is supposed to be like the deuteragonist of the series. I don't know. I would assume kind of Knuckle Duster as well.
Yeah.
Um,
Now, what do you think? We do see what's his name, Eraserhead.
yep.
Uh, at one point,
One of my
at the very end.
yeah. So Aizawa, he is a pretty cool character. You see him a lot more, I would assume, in the main series because when Izuku Midoriya and his classmates are attending UA High School, Eraserhead is working as one of the teachers. So you get to
Yep.
see him in action quite a bit.
So it says the prequel starts 1 year before he began teaching at UA
Okay, so this is when he's still in his regular like
or UA High
hero
School.
career.
Yeah.
Okay.
So all for one. It says while he spent most of his screen time in the main series as either a teacher or as an agent against the war against All for One,
Yeah.
Vigilante shows fans why and how he gained so much respect from the public.
Okay.
So I'm guessing that we're going
Kind of like
to
what I was saying. Like we'll probably see him
see,
doing legit heroics while
yeah,
they are in the shadows in the background, maybe even working together.
yeah. I mean, he was there in the first episode,
Yeah,
so
and because he confronted them at the very end,
right,
didn't he?
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's where we saw him. So so yeah, and I don't know anything about this stuff.
Yeah,
So
I'm really looking forward to getting to see Eraserhead in his prime of heroics.
so hold on. Works in the shadows, very important emotional flashbacks.
I wonder if we're gonna get to see more of Endeavor also.
So there's Endeavor's actually on the character
He's
list.
listed in the character
Yeah.
list, yeah.
So
So he's in the beginning of My Hero. Endeavor is is Japan's #2 hero in popularity and all that. And then of course once All Might inevitably loses his access to All for One, or I mean One for All, Endeavor eventually becomes the #1 hero of Japan.
so gives your perspective on. So it looks like we will see, or we're supposed to see Endeavor
Interesting.
uh situation.
I definitely hope they don't try and make you like Endeavor in this show, especially some for people like you who
Yeah.
haven't seen My Hero. I don't want you to watch this, really start to like Endeavor, and then be crushed when we start watching My Hero.
Well, this is, and it might happen because it says this
Yeah,
version of Endeavor is obviously younger,
right.
more
Exactly.
ambitious, way more aggressive.
Ooh, so maybe we'll.
There are still several years left until his redemption and character development.
Mhm. So maybe it'll
He's
make you
ruthless.
dislike him. Maybe it'll make you dislike him
Yes.
before you even get to see him in the main
So it
show.
says he's ruthless. So,
Okay.
in order to fight many villains and vigilantes.
Oh, okay. So he'll be an antagonist against these guys more than
And
likely.
there's a spoiler in here.
Well, of course, that's what you get for reading. Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
I probably shouldn't say it. I'm not going to say it. But you can read it. This sentence right here.
Well, that actually makes sense.
Yeah.
He's kind of a dick.
So,
No, you'll understand what I mean when we get to My Hero for
yeah.
sure.
So I don't know about this dick right now, but I will get to learn, and I'm
Yeah.
guessing that I won't like him either because I'm already kind of attached to Kyoji because of how much of an underdog he is and how much he, to me, resembles little old Jinwoo and
Yeah,
in the beginning of the series,
just a guy who wants to be a hero,
and he
but doesn't
basically
have the power to.
almost died like
Yeah.
50,000 times before he
Yep.
actually got good. That's like all he was there for is just to die and be
Yep.
killed. So I mean, I can feel for this guy, and he just wants to do good. You know, if he was out there every single night cleaning up litter, putting recycling in the recycling bin,
Yep.
and just like slithering to gather lost items to give to people who think he's weird because
Yep.
he's slithering on the ground. But then they called him Mr.
Mr. Nice Guy. They liked him. He
Yeah,
was
they did like him.
popular around the community, at
No,
least.
they gave him respect. They didn't make fun of him.
Yep.
You would think that they'd make fun of him. We made fun of him.
We did, but we don't live in that community either. You know, I guess if
Exactly.
you like, if all right, if Mr. Nice Guy was slithering around your neighborhood cleaning up the park next door, you'd be like, "That's a cool guy.
Yeah, I'd be like,
I'm glad to have Mr. Nice Guy in this neighborhood."
right, exactly. Yeah.
Because if nothing else, he's like a neighborhood watch. He might not be able to do something if something bad
He
happens,
sure
but
can
you know
trip
he's gonna
somebody.
call.
He can trip somebody.
He'll call the proper authorities.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
anyway, so hi Reese. But anyway, Kyochi, what do you think about him? I mean, what is your general first impression of him? Do you actually are you as attached to him as I am, or are you still kind of like, you know, he's just a guy?
No, I mean he really reminds me of like Mizuku Midoriya, from the main story, because uh Midoriya, unlike what's his name, Midoriya doesn't even like have a quirk at all. Like he's completely quirkless, no powers whatsoever. Um, the only reason he even gets a quirk and is able to get accepted into UA is because he ends up inheriting All Might's power. But his whole thing is like he really wants to be a hero regardless of not having a quirk.
Yeah.
And kind of like that mindset and his like determination to never give up. And if you've seen the first like 2 episodes, you might have seen when he jumps in to save one of his classmates from a villain when he has no quirk and no hope for survival, and All Might kind of like picks Midoriya because of that, kind of in the same reason that like
Knuckle
Jinwoo got
Duster.
picked
Oh,
by like the system,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, like and also the same reason that Knuckle Duster picked to train him, you know?
Yeah.
So I think like Midoriya, now while he's an exception because of like him inheriting All Might's power, that he, you know, that's crazy. That's like you inheriting Superman's power, you know,
Yeah.
almost not nearly as much, but you get what I'm
Yeah.
saying. But I think like the mindset that he's gonna have, as long as he never gives up, I think he's gonna be an interesting character to follow. And I don't know. Maybe as he, because like Midoriya has no control over All Might's power. He is not like All Might when he first gets it.
Yeah.
When he uses that power, because his body is not used to having that much strength, he breaks his limbs every time he uses it
Oh
for a
God,
while. Like
that's horrible.
if every time he punches someone, breaks his like his hand or his arm. Like, you know, if he just flicks compressed air at someone to knock them out, that's a broken finger. You know, like yeah. So he has to be very careful when he's training to learn to use his powers. And then as he trains his body and working out and like just training in general, as he gets stronger and practices with his power more, he gets more control and he stops hurting himself when he's using his powers. So with this guy, I don't imagine he's ever going to get powerful at all in the same way that Midoriya does. But I bet you as he gets stronger, as he works out and trains and
Yeah.
practices with crime fighting and all he's gonna do with like Knuckle Duster, I'm wondering if even if his quirk doesn't get stronger, if he will get so like skilled enough physically and just like in general to use it in ways that like it doesn't matter that his quirk is weak,
Yeah.
he'll still be useful.
Now
You know?
we did see one instance, and before I say this, you just like pop something in my brain.
Okay.
That could be the reason why Jin Woo has those daily quests to make himself stronger. The push-ups, the sit-ups, the running.
Yeah.
Because maybe if he didn't do that, then he
His
couldn't handle his powers.
exactly. No, that's exactly
Same
what
thing.
it's to make sure that you're always progressing
Yeah.
so that you can continue to handle more of the power.
Yeah.
Because yeah, it's not like I don't think like with Jinwoo's case, I don't think it's like, oh, like he's weak and he gradually becomes strong. I think he has all of that power. It's just his body has to get strong enough to handle the power
Right.
that
Exactly.
he already has.
And
you know?
so we did see one instance of Kyochi using that power in a different way
Yeah.
that actually worked by tackling this guy.
Yeah.
So
He grabbed him and started sliding them
right.
away from
So he
Pop
was
Smoke.
able to actually get some force behind
Yeah.
it and some weight behind
So imagine once he hits the gym for like 3 months.
it. Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. He could become like a tank and
He,
just
yeah.
like a running back.
Like did you ever watch the Young Justice series
I don't think
back in the day? It like started airing in like 2011.
I don't think so. What was it? What was it about?
Like the Justice League's sidekicks and like what their team, you know?
Was it a live action?
It was a cartoon.
Okay, I did watch a live action
Titans.
no, well, Titans, yes, but this was I think in the DC universe.
Titans is DC. So it's
Or
just
not
Marvel.
no, this was yes, Marvel, sorry.
Okay.
God,
New Mutants.
what were they called? I forgot, but these were just like
The
teenagers.
Runaways.
Yes.
Runaways.
Yeah.
There's so many different.
I know. So many like spin-offs
Yeah.
and everything. But yeah, that's the one I saw, and that's what
Okay.
kind of made me think about it when you said whatever you just said.
All right.
The show
Well,
you just talked about.
that's gonna be a show I make you watch too, because Young Justice that is pure cinema.
Yeah.
Yes. But but in that show, Kid Flash, this version of Kid Flash is nowhere near as fast as the Flash, or even the Flash's grandson, the other Kid Flash. So Wally West, he's like super. He is fast, of course, but like nowhere in comparison to any of the other speedsters. And unlike the Flash, who can start from zero and go instantly to like max speed,
Yeah.
Wally has to gradually like work his way up, like with inertia, build as he
And
runs.
he is in the Flash, the show, the Flash,
Yep,
Kid Flash.
yep.
Yeah.
But his powers are just like Barry's in that
Yeah.
show. Yeah,
Yeah. And
but
he joins the
the
what is it called?
the what are they called?
Chat. What's it called?
No, the Legends of Tomorrow.
Yes.
That's it.
No.
That's it.
No. The Legends of Tomorrow with the Black Canary, the
White
White
Canary.
Canary.
Yeah.
He joins them because in that show
For
he's
like
not on.
he joins them. So
Or
okay.
maybe that's later.
So he leaves the Flash to do his own thing for a while, and then he joins with the Legends, but he only stays with them for like a couple episodes.
Okay, that might be.
He doesn't stay permanently.
Okay.
And then when he comes back to the Flash, and then he leaves and like does his own thing
Yeah.
again. Yeah.
This is so.
Yeah.
We could have a whole crazy discussion about DC. Maybe we will one day. But
Yeah.
I've watched all those shows, so it's like
The Arrowverse shows.
yes.
Did you watch Superman and Lois?
Besides that, no. I watched
That's a good one
Supergirl.
too.
I watched Arrow, of course. I
Right.
watched the
Legends
of Tomorrow. I got like halfway through because it's kind of weird. It was cool, but it was kind of weird at the same time.
The first two seasons were great, but they definitely lost me after that.
And then I watched The Flash. What else is there?
That was great until like season 6.
So it was cool just to get kind of like a background on more of these nuanced like characters, but also villains.
Yeah.
Like Livewire and all that stuff. So, but anyway, well, get back to what you were saying about the show you brought up.
I was just gonna say, like, I think Koichi, once he like gets stronger and like starts practicing more and like gets experience fighting like other people with quirks, I think you're gonna see one of his signature things is him charging at people and using his sliding thing to like kind of maybe use their like inertia against them in combat.
Yeah.
So and just just kind of be moving people around.
So, do you think his slidey thing is more of like manipulating force, like inertia? The Newton laws or whatever, maybe.
Um, I guess so.
I mean, it's just a theory, of course.
Yeah.
Considering he did that move, right?
Yeah.
Basically used his force to upend this guy, but also used their weight against them, right? Because he was a lot bigger. So I guess it could be possible, right?
Let me see. I'm looking up how his powers work. I can't not know.
And while you do that, I also love how they use comic book uh
Yeah,
like
I love some good like comic
sound
book like
or like the
yeah
comic book sound effects, but they have it
yeah
like the
yeah
words, yeah,
the wapow
like swish,
yeah swish yeah that's good that's
even
good.
glug glug or chug chug, whatever it was.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think they do that in My Hero, but I do always love a good comic book thing like that. Little trope in a cartoon. Let's see. All right, avoiding spoilers. Or
Trying to avoid spoilers at least.
slide and glide is what his quirk is officially called.
Glide and glide.
So it allows him to slide over plane surfaces by emitting a repelling force from his hands and feet, allowing him to glide off of the surfaces. He can move in any direction, including backwards, and he can slide up vertical surfaces. His quirk requires him to use at least 3 limbs. His repulsion can be executed from any part of his body, even his back.
Wow.
Yep. Okay. So his power does as he trains, he does learn different ways to use the power.
Well, I hope so. I mean,
Well, so like he can eventually it says he eventually learns that he is capable of producing repulsions through his palms, like being able to shoot a burst of air while holding an item. And then eventually it says energy blasts, which can be rapidly fired at
okay.
increased like damage
So
intervals.
his key blast.
Yeah, maybe kind of like that. Let's see. Okay. So at first he can move about as fast as a bicycle. He is already able to go faster, but because he's never trained, he doesn't go faster for fear of like losing control and hurting himself or not
That
knowing
whole
how to stop.
that whole 3 limb thing kind of sucks.
Yeah,
Why not two? Right? Then he
right.
could just be on his feet and like,
Maybe that's just initially though, or like just the sliding part. Like I bet if he's blasting, I bet he doesn't have to use three limbs for that.
you'd have to like
Yeah.
crouch down and like, yeah, I don't know. That'd be kind of annoying, for him to have to do that every single time.
Oh, okay, so he has a lot of other powers that he just doesn't know how to use because he's never trained. So he actually looks like his quirk. He could definitely 100% become a pro hero. He just no one ever gave him the time of day because he doesn't know how to use his powers properly.
Oh, I just got another spoiler.
What?
Okay. So, well, first, what we're talking about is,
Oh, I was just reading that too.
as he trains, he has more abilities with his quirk, I guess you could say, instead of more quirks. It's more abilities with his quirk.
Yeah.
He's going to be a lot faster, slide at blinding speeds.
Yeah, don't say that last bit though.
Yeah, I'm not going to. Uh,
That's
but
crazy.
luckily, it shows that he has a massive amount of growth.
I felt like he probably had potential with
Well,
that
I would
though.
hope so because he's like the main character, right?
Yes.
It's not going to be the other two.
But
He's going to be the main character of this
But
story.
wouldn't there also be something like cool about a main character who doesn't get stronger and still manages to persevere and become a hero? Wouldn't that be just as like wouldn't that be just as like compelling of a story even if it's not quite as like flashy or entertaining? Because like you could have the side characters be the flashy entertaining people while he just remains at a static power level but evolves as a character.
I mean, it's true, but I don't think it would be as exciting.
You're just a sucker for OP main characters.
I am. I can't.
Solo leveling has ruined you. Solo leveling in Dragon Ball
I
has
think Dragon
ruined
Ball
you.
ruined me.
Just can't go without it.
My little 8-year-old self watching Dragon Ball. I think that's what ruined me. Became a shonen guy for sure. So
Shonen bro.
yeah. So anyway, sorry guys, had to cut for a second. So I think we've talked for almost an hour on one episode.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, obviously, if we can do an hour per episode going forward when it comes out, that'll be pretty great.
Yeah, that would be good.
But what we might do is obviously we're just going to be following this. I might watch the main show as
As going
as we
along.
do this, just to
Okay.
get a little bit more
Like context of the world and
comfortable with their universe. Because right now I feel like I'm just like a deer in headlights.
it's like it's a completely brand new anime like world for you.
Because I have
So
no context whatsoever.
yeah.
What I read on Game Rant was literally the most information I had on this.
Yeah.
So anyway, so far Vigilantes is I think, at least with what we've seen, what we've read, it's going to be a pretty great show,
Looks like it's gonna be pretty good.
especially with the main character. I think the core characters are going to work well with each other.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how like all of them progress, not going forward.
Exactly.
Assuming they all do.
So I mean I mean, the freaking, and this may just be a, manga situation, but the animation, like the pictures on Game Rant that they showed of B-pop
Mhm.
were pretty badass.
Okay.
So I'm sure that as Kyochi progresses, they will too. Hopefully, we'll get more of a backstory on them as we go through as well. But yeah, I mean, solid show so far.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of it.
Yep, the animation has been decent.
Yep.
So yeah, looking
And
forward.
we have also just started watching a little bit of Fire Force. We know that the final season is airing this year in two parts, and with the second part starting, I think, the beginning of next year.
Yeah,
So we are trying to get caught up with the first two seasons now. We don't expect to be done with both seasons before the first half is over. I mean, we might be. It
yeah,
just depends on between this and My Hero and other things. We're watching JJK as well,
right.
so we might not finish both seasons of Fire Force by uh part one, but we should be done with completely caught up once part two starts in 2026. And then we'll be able to cover the finale of Fire Force weekly. But we'll talk
Yes.
about it intermittently as we get through certain bits just throughout,
Yeah, and it's kind of a little bit the same as the new season of JJK too,
Yeah,
because
because it's already out. Season three was it announced for this anime season or no?
I think it's next
Next season?
season.
Okay, so that'll give us enough time then.
Yeah, so
So we're trying to
we're
get
just trying
caught
to get
up with
caught up.
JJK so that we can cover season three weekly as well. Because ideally, what we want to do is talk a little bit about a couple different anime each week as they're releasing, and then whenever we don't have much new anime to talk about, then we can spend time talking about older anime that we're catching up on, like
Right,
eventually you plan on watching Naruto,
right,
so that would be
exactly.
a slow day, a slow week would be a good day to talk about that.
So JJK season 3 is actually later than I thought. So
Oh wow.
it's going to be end of this year and early next year.
Okay, so we'll be covering the end of the next season of JJK around the
Right.
time we're watching the end of Fire Force then.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
So
that'll be
we'll
good.
be busy at that time, but at
Yeah,
least once we get done with
this
one
will
and
be
two,
catch up time. Yeah.
yeah, because I'm already in season 2 of JJK.
Right, yeah, you're further ahead than me, so you're good.
So we'll get through that.
Yep.
We will talk about it because I think it will be important to talk about it before we get to
Oh
the
yeah,
next
for
season.
sure. I mean, just so we can talk about it some, get into our thoughts and
Same
theories,
with
and
Fire
then
Force,
yeah,
which we've heard many great things about Fire Force.
absolutely.
So we want to kind of get into that culture and the
Um,
details of each different company and all that good stuff. So it's going to be a lot to talk about.
Dawn to Dawn should be returning for the summer anime season as well. I think it's going to come out in June or July.
That'll be exciting. Even though I
Yeah.
said it was just fine.
I know you last week you just said it was fun.
I need more information.
Yeah.
That's all I want. I want more context on what the hell is going on in that
Then I
situation.
guess you're gonna have to read the manga.
Oh God, reading though, but
You can read the whole story right now.
I
Well, up to where they are. It's not complete, but
but there's just something about the excitement
I
of
know watching it
for the
new.
first time.
I get it.
Because the same thing with Solo Leveling. Because like season 3 is not even announced. The what is it? The guy that does the show, it has better things to do right now.
I
That's what he
guess.
said. He's got other things that he's gonna do.
I guess.
Why?
This
Okay.
is so popular right
And it
now.
didn't even end off on like a really good cliffhanger or anything like that.
No, it was
So
as far as cliffhangers go, it was kind of a lame one
exactly.
compared to
So
like the first season.
yeah, and so either way, and what? Okay, so Taco's anonymous. All right. So I heard Nick was saying this. One of the guys on there. He said that the manga had such a better. Okay, for one, more detail, right? But they
Yeah.
took like he said like 5 whole pages out of it, out of the finale.
Yeah, a lot
That
of
would have been a better cliffhanger
yep.
because all of these nationally ranked guys were basically like coming after Jin Woo.
Yeah, and getting at least introduced so that we, the
Right.
viewer, know what's going on.
Exactly.
But they
That would have been a much better cliffhanger than just seeing these two
random villains or
yeah.
whatever they
I think
are.
they're They
They
might be
might be
monarchs.
monarchs,
Yeah.
maybe.
So I think I did read that they are monarchs, but
Right.
I don't
But
know if
either
it's
way, it's like they didn't explain much,
no.
you
It
know, it
was
was a quick little
they
scene of
sniffed
them.
Jinwoo's dad, and then they left.
Yeah, I mean that's basically it. That's what they did. You're right.
so so anyway,
Yeah.
not a good cliffhanger, and we don't know when season 3 is going to come out. Could be years from
It could be, yeah, it could be years from now. I mean, remember, JJK season 2 released last year, 2024, right?
Mhm.
Season 1, what was it? 2020, 2021? So there
That's what I
was
heard.
a 3 or 4 year gap between those seasons.
And like,
And that was a show that they knew they were getting another season.
yeah,
So imagine, like
I'm gonna be so heartbroken if they don't.
dude, yeah, because there's so like it. We're just covering like and watching a lot of like the more mainstream, like bigger, more well-known anime and stuff. But there are so many like smaller, like one season anime that are so good and well received, but just never got a second season.
Yeah,
You know, like it's crazy.
I mean, and back in the day, I don't know if it finished or not, or if it just got not canceled. I don't think it finished.
What's
Black
that?
Butler, and I know you haven't seen that, but my wife is actually a big fan of Black Butler. It
I
was
don't know what
really
that got finished
good.
either.
And there's only 2 seasons, I think, and that was like years ago, like almost a decade ago
Yeah.
is when it was like created, or at least the animated version. And I haven't seen the manga, so I don't think, or I don't know if it actually finished or not. But I know that they haven't renewed it since like 2018 or something like that.
Okay, so a new season of the anime came out in 2024.
Okay, so maybe
So
it came out after you and I
maybe
talked
they
about
just started like yeah.
because we talked about it, and when we looked on Crunchyroll,
Yeah.
there was nothing but those old seasons.
But the both the manga and the anime are still ongoing technically. Like
Okay,
neither of them are complete. So not even the manga's complete.
so maybe we talk about Black Butler too. If they came out with a new season, 'cause
Yeah,
that's
we could
pretty
do that.
exciting. Because that was really
Public
good.
school arc. I don't know anything about Black Butler, so.
Yeah, it's a really good show.
And apparently a fifth season has already been announced. So it will do another season still.
Awesome.
So that's good for your wife.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Speaking of our wives, if we're gonna watch Black Butler, for your wife's benefit, because I know that's something she'll enjoy hearing us talk about and watch.
Hopefully.
And well, hopefully, she keeps asking us to. So,
I know.
but maybe that'll be good for you too, because like you guys, that you if you're rewatching it, y'all could watch that together. In
Yeah,
theory.
and we will have to rewatch it
Yeah.
because it's been. I think it, I think we watched it together when we first started dating,
Wow.
which was like 6 years ago.
Yeah.
It was like 5 or 6 years ago that we started watching it, and we watched it all the way through.
And then you didn't
And
pick
it
it up
just,
again.
well, no, because it ended.
Right.
So, and
Um.
back then I wasn't like a huge anime buff.
Well, in addition to that, we should at some point watch, and I don't know how you're going to feel about this, but I will put my stamp of approval on it for sure. We should watch Sailor Moon Crystal.
Okay. Well, I
The
mean, I've heard good things about Sailor.
So I won't make you watch the OG like 90s version because it's a lot of filler. The animation, of course, is very old, and it just different. But like Crystal animation is absolutely superb. Like it's great. All the fillers cut out, so it's just like straight like manga material. The story pacing moves so much faster, and it's just more like manageable.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, so it's pretty easy to burn through too. You could probably burn through all of Crystal in like a week or two.
and you've seen Sailor Moon, right?
Yeah, we've watched all of it.
Okay.
I've watched all of the
Do
original
you agree
series
with
and
this
Crystal.
statement? I saw this.
Yeah, she can be Goku.
Yes. So
Yeah,
I
she could
saw that.
100%.
I mean, I have no
Wouldn't
idea.
even be a fight.
I know of her, like, because back in the day when we get like action figures and stuff, I had a
Yeah.
Sailor Moon action figure because I mean, because it's like a anime hero back when I was like really engulfed in like Dragon Ball Z and stuff.
Yeah, that was one, and that was like back then, what you really had as far as anime out here in the West, you really didn't have a whole lot. You had like Dragon Ball, Sailor Moon,
Gundam.
Gundam
Yeah,
Wing,
can't
um,
forget about that.
yeah, Gundam Wing. You had Yu Yu Hakusho,
Full Metal Alchemist.
the OG, yeah, the
Yeah,
OG, not Brotherhood, but the OG Full Metal Alchemist. What was it?
trying to think of all these Toonami things.
Um, Cowboy Bebop.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I never got into that one.
I did. We should watch that.
Yeah.
That's an old one and a short one. I think it's like 40, 60 episodes like total.
Okay.
So we could watch that pretty quick. Um, yeah, I mean that's it. And then like the new wave started with like Naruto, Hunter x Hunter, One Piece, Bleach.
My dog just unplugged that charger.
Uh-oh. Well,
Um,
at least you had it charging already.
right. Yeah. So, also, I want to ask the viewers this. Okay, and you don't have to agree because you are engulfed in anime more than I am. Wow. All right. Somebody give me a very obscure anime show to watch, like something that's so like off the wall and like not very mainstream that you think I should watch that would just kind of like blow my mind to weirdness. You know what I mean? Because I was so engulfed in the weirdness of Don to Don, right? But I know there's so much more crazy shit out there. Okay, so give me something that I should watch and talk about on my reaction, because I want to like experience it. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So just give me something. I know he can give me something.
Oh yeah, I can give you a few if you want weird. So the I remember when this news came out, but I forgot about this. The mangaka, the guy who created Rurouni Kenshin, which is a pretty big manga, 70 million copies sold. People said the timeless series. Um the author was arrested and convicted
Oh
for
God.
possession of so much child porn that
Oh,
they suspected him to be a distributor. Uh, so yeah, people agree like the manga's a masterpiece, but the brain behind it,
like a fucking psycho.
yeah. So I've never watched Rurouni Kenshin, but I've heard a lot of good things about the story. So I don't know, you could maybe see
Text that
if
to me.
that's weird.
Yeah, text that to
Um,
me. You can watch it too if you want. I mean, we're already extremely busy, but eventually
yeah.
I'll watch it. And viewers, give me a show too. Something you think is just off the wall, batshit crazy, or just really fucking weird. And just let me be exposed to it. Okay.
You should check out just the isekai genre of anime. Like go under like Crunchyroll because I think you can go by genre. Look under isekai. That's where like your typical like I died and got reincarnated as the most handsome attractive man in the world and everyone wants to marry me and have my babies. You know
So I go.
those. Yeah, something like that. But the like you could check out Slime Isekai. That's not like off the wall, like in the sense of like it's a pretty, as far as isekai goes, it's a pretty mainstream one, but like a lot of people watch it. But I'd say like that's like stepping in the right direction of what you're looking for like something that's not shonen, right? So like check out it's that time I got reincarnated by as a slime. I think it's been going on for a few years now. A few of my friends have been trying to get me to watch it, so maybe I'll check it out if you
Yeah.
do. So,
Okay.
well, there's a bunch of things.
Okay. Well, give me some recommendations. Next time we'll talk more about basically what we talked about here, right?
Yep,
We'll watch another episode of Vigilantes if it's coming out weekly,
yep.
which I think it is.
I think it is.
We will talk more about Fire Force. We'll have a lot better. We just watched one
Yeah,
episode.
we watched the very first episode of season one today before we started filming.
All right.
We'll be a few
So
episodes.
far, it looks very interesting.
Oh yeah, I'm enjoying it
It's
so
already
far.
it's already been pretty action packed too.
Yeah,
So
that first episode had quite a bit of action in it that drew me in. So a good several episodes in. We'll have enough to talk about next time. We should. We had plenty to talk about for JJK today as
And I
well,
might be
but
finished
yeah, you might be
by that
finished
time.
with JJK by then. I'm hoping I'll be done with season 1 or at least close to it by next week. So
Yeah.
we'll get it.
Well, we'll be up to date soon, I
Yeah.
promise. But thank you guys for watching.
Yep. Thank you guys.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.